On December 30th, 1903, the deadliest theater fire in U.S. history occurs when 602 people are killed at the Iroquois Theater in Chicago. But how did the fire start? And why was the death toll so high? The theater had opened earlier that year, and it was luxurious. The building commissioner and fire inspector both declared that it was fireproof beyond all doubt, but an editorial in Fireproof magazine disagreed. It was a full house that day, with 2,000 patrons eager to see a matinee performance of the play Mr. Bluebird, starring popular actor and comedian Eddie Foy. Foy said of the audience, quote, "It struck me as I looked out over the crowd during the first act that I had never seen so many women and children in the audience. Even the gallery was full of mothers and children." End quote. The fire was started by a spotlight backstage, which short-circuited and ignited a curtain. Foy told the patrons to stay put because the theater had an asbestos curtain, but the curtain didn't come down all the way. Panic ensued. Tragically, due to concerns about people sneaking into the theater without paying, most of the theater's exits were locked or access to them was blocked by gates. None was equipped with a panic bar. Skylights that were meant to open to allow heat to escape in the event of a fire had been sealed shut. There was no fire safety plan, and employees had never run a fire drill. It was total chaos. When actors and stagehands opened a large stage door at the back of the theater to escape, a backdraft was created, causing a fireball to rip through the theater. The flames and gases hit those still in the upper levels, killing many instantly. Foy described it as, quote, "a flash and a roar as when a heap of loose powder is fired all at once," end quote. Some theater goers were able to escape using the fire escapes, but that was difficult because they were made icy and dangerous by the winter temperatures. Some escaped by crossing to other buildings with the help of onlookers, but others fell to their deaths. Firefighters worked tirelessly to put out the blaze. Inside, they found bodies piled next to the exits. Several individuals were indicted in connection with the fire, including the theater owner, the business manager, and the stage carpenter, as well as the building commissioner and a building inspector. Most charges were eventually dismissed, however, and only one person served time. That individual was a saloon owner who was convicted of robbing items from the dead bodies while his saloon was used as a makeshift morgue in the fire's aftermath. The tragedy helped lead to reforms in building design and emergency protocols that are still visible today. Here are other events that happened today in history. In 1853, the U.S. makes the Gadsden Purchase, acquiring territory that finalizes the border with Mexico. In 1916, holy man Rasputin is murdered by Russian nobles to end his influence over the royal family. In 1922, the Soviet Union is established, becoming the first country in the world based on Marxist socialism. In 1936, auto workers occupied the GM plant in Flint, Michigan, in one of the U.S.'s first sit-down strikes. In 1965, Ferdinand Marcos is inaugurated, beginning a 20-year regime in the Philippines known for corruption. In 1994, anti-abortion activist John Salvi goes on a killing spree at 2 clinics in Massachusetts. In 2022, pioneering American television journalist Barbara Walters dies in New York City at age 93. And now it's time for our Today in History quiz. Baseball legend Roberto Clemente dies in a plane crash while trying to deliver relief supplies to earthquake victims in which country? Puerto Rico, El Salvador, Panama, or Nicaragua? Liked learning about the Iroquois Theater fire? Then you'll enjoy this one about an even larger fire in Chicago, known simply as the Great Fire. Tap the screen to keep the story going on Today in History.